We're living in a period of rapid change where new technology, the climate emergency and the implications of an ageing population will all have a profound impact on the way we live our lives in the future. Given this atmosphere of turmoil, more than ever, I believe political leaders and political parties need a set of values as a foundation from which to respond to those challenges. I believe people are crying out for principled leadership, which is prepared to argue for what it believes in. So today, as I launch the SNP manifesto for the 2024 general election, let me set out the core values of the Scottish National Party that anchor our proposition to the people of Scotland. We are a moderate left-of-centre party in the mainstream of Scottish public opinion, firmly rooted in the ideas of inclusion and internationalism. We will always put the interests of people in Scotland first, wherever our people were born, wherever our people have come from. And at the very heart of our beliefs is the principle that decisions about Scotland should be made by the people who live in Scotland. Why? For the simple reason that no one else cares as much about this wonderful country, and no one else will do a better job of taking care of it now and in the future than the people who live here. It is through independence, therefore, that we believe we can build a fairer country and the more prosperous economy we know is possible. Not independence for its own sake, independence for the powers to protect our National Health Service and to help people through tough times. Independence for a stronger economy and happier, healthier lives. And independence for a better future for Scotland, made in Scotland, for Scotland. It is those values that govern our overall approach and the content of this manifesto. So let me outline the choice the SNP offers to the people of Scotland at this election. First and foremost, we are the only party arguing for an end to the spending cuts. The arbitrary Tory fiscal rules adopted by Labour bake in more eye-watering cuts, £18 billion of cuts. The SNP manifesto argues for new, sensible fiscal rules that will end the cuts, reverse the £1.3 billion cut to Scotland's capital budget, and invest in public services, starting with the health service. We will join with progressive politicians south of the border to press for greater funding for the NHS and for the UK Government to match the pay deals that we've given our health staff in Scotland. That would see an extra £1.6 billion for the National Health Service in Scotland. And we would introduce a Keep the NHS in Public Hands bill at Westminster, a legal guarantee for a publicly owned, publicly operated health service. The SNP message on the health service is clear. It is simple and it will never change. The NHS is not for sale. Voting SNP is a vote to protect our public services and our precious National Health Service. Friends, I've made clear the focus of my government will be to eradicate child poverty. The two-child benefit cap makes things much, much worse. It is the exact opposite of what the UK government should be doing. Introduced by an uncaring Conservative government, it is frankly beyond me that the prospective Labour government plan to keep this deeply damaging policy. SNP MPs will press for the two-child benefit cap to be scrapped. The future of the two-child cap is a simple test. Are you in government to help children out of poverty, or are you so morally lost that you push kids into poverty? Our choice to abolish the cap is obvious, and it is driven by our values, and we will assert that in the House of Commons after this election. Those values that demand the removal of the two-child cap also drive the SNP on so many issues, not least nuclear weapons. We will demand an end to the obscene waste of billions of pounds on a new generation of weapons of mass destruction. And while we're talking about waste, SNP MPs will demand that the House of Lords is abolished. Our values, Scotland's choices. Elected government, not ermine-clad cronies. Lift the two-child cap, not the cap on bankers' bonuses. Bairns, not bombs, and investment, not cuts. I believe those choices represent the values that most of us share. They are Scotland's values, and a vote for the SNP, a vote for this manifesto, is a vote for those values for Scotland. Friends, every election is a choice. Over recent years, the outrageous Westminster power grab has been designed to reduce the choices Scotland can make for itself. That must stop. The devolution-busting Internal Market Act must be revoked. Westminster routinely passing laws in devolved areas without the consent of the Scottish Parliament must end. For Scotland's workers, we will support the end of exploitative zero-hours contracts, the unacceptable practice of fire and rehire, and we will fight to scrap the so-called Minimum Services Level Act, which is an attack on the right to strike. Fighting austerity against Westminster austerity cuts, for our National Health Service, for better working conditions, and against the Westminster power grab. Working whenever we can with others to promote practical, moderate, left-of-centre policies. That is what the SNP are offering the people of Scotland at this election. We will stand up for Scotland at Westminster, and we will put the interests of Scotland first in the Westminster Parliament. But we know that the Westminster system is broken, no matter how much we try to mitigate its impact. I think most people in Scotland know that too. So our ambition is to transfer power from Westminster and into the hands of the people of Scotland. Taking decisions in Scotland for Scotland works. Using the limited powers of the Scottish Parliament has had a real impact on people's lives. The SNP has introduced a more progressive tax system to help fund the NHS and other public services. We've delivered the best performing core A&E services in the UK for nearly 10 years. We're helping with the cost of living through free prescriptions, all-day off-peak rail travel, and free bus travel for young people. We've overseen a massive expansion in renewable energy and are already halfway towards net zero. We've delivered many more affordable houses per head of population than England or Wales. I know, however, that we must constantly strive to strengthen our work in transforming the lives of people in Scotland. Through measures such as the Scottish Child Payment, we're keeping an estimated 100,000 children out of poverty. That is the SNP in government at Holyrood, working day in, day out to earn and re-earn the trust of people in Scotland. Now, we will not always get everything right, but we will always, always put the interests of people in Scotland first.